larger than life. He'll give you strife. He's Todd. He's tall, he's mean, he's labeling machine. He's Todd. Rides a motorbike, he'll tell you what it's like. He's Todd. Don't know what he'll say, he'll scare the kids away. He's Todd. He's Todd.
Hey, good morning. Man, thanks to Dan Cobb for that catchy little tune. Speaking of Dan Cobb, I got Dan on as a guest today. So what we did is we shot some footage here in Ramona, California, and then wherever the hell Dan is in Wisconsin. And so what we're going to do is we're going to show you the just how tough our tape is. We've already done a couple of these things. We did the scrub test. I think you all saw me go through a car wash a couple of weeks ago. But anyway, hey, good morning. I'm glad you're here. By the way, this episode is dedicated to my nephew, Christopher Morse. And with that being said, again, we're pre-shooting these videos. We're having a little bit of fun with them. We'll go through. Today is Fire and Ice. And so Dan did a couple of things. I did a couple of things, and the whole idea behind this is to show how tough the tape is and highly resistant to heat and to cold. And I know different labeling applications. You got outside plant, obviously, which is could be in a cold, wet, or even hot environment. You got data centers. Data centers seem to get hot. I know I've been into a couple that are rather warm. And so what that does is, heat and cold, they will expand and contract. And it's the same with the label. So you take a label that goes through some of these extremes, heat and cold, and that label tends to expand and contract. And eventually, if you don't have a tough enough tape, that thing's going to fall off. So I do this every show. All right. I think we're working on 36, 37 weeks in water. You can see I'm losing a little bit of water here. But anyway, that thing, the cable wrap and the flag is still going very strong. So all of Brother tapes, except for our super narrow and our heat shrink, are laminated. And that is the secret sauce. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a screen real quick. And I tried this earlier before I got on, and it went horribly. So let's see if I can do this. But what I'm going to show you is this. And what this is these are our tape attributes. And you can see we've got HGE tape, which is our contractor pack, if you will. All right. We've got our TZE tape, and there's a couple of variants on that. Then we have our HSC tape, which is our heat shrink. So what I want to show you was kind of how the tape, first of all, abrasion resistant, chemical resistant, UV resistant, scratch resistant, scuff resistant. You've heard me go through this 100 times. All right. But here is how the tape is actually made, where you've got the polyester laminate, which adheres, and we actually print on the underside of the laminate, which is adhered to the substrate. All right. So after that substration occurs, all right, that's where the magic starts. Substration. All right. That one's mine. So anyway, here's basically what we have: a standard adhesive, which is meant for a smooth, flat surface. The extra strength adhesive is actually a softer adhesive that gets inside all these little nooks and crannies. So if you're labeling a rack or a cabinet or a cinder block wall even, yes, we can do that. You want to use our extra strength adhesive. Our flexible ID is meant for curved and round surfaces, so cable wraps, flags, so forth and whatnot. You can see here, there's a couple of visuals of the different types of adhesive that we move or that we make. And UL rated. All right. And this one goes into, again, some of the attributes that we have as far as abrasion resistant, chemical resistant, water resistant, blah, 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 blah. All right. The other thing too is fade resistant. And, you know, that correlates with the heat. So if you are putting this stuff, let's say, on a ped outside, it's not going to fade, and the heat's not going to affect it unless you're in a 225-degree environment. And then dielectric strength. So I'm going to stop sharing this. I'm going to go back to my favorite subject, which is me. So anyway, I brought Dan on. Dan is a goofy guy. You'll see here in a second, and he actually came up with this idea. What a fantastic idea! So Dan, are you out there somewhere?
Here I am, my man.
Hey, how you doing? How's Wisconsin?
Wisconsin is cold. I was given grief earlier about a joke that I made. I was told it was not a good joke, but I literally saw a snowman standing outside a fire pit trying to stay warm.
That was me that told you that.
Oh was yeah, that's right. That's right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So anyway, Dan primarily deals on the MRO side. So a lot of facilities, and there's a lot of different variants in facilities. And Dan, just take 30 seconds and not a second more. Let the folks out there know the importance of a tough label, kind of in the arena that you deal with, which is the facility side, which again encompasses many different aspects of labeling.
No, thanks. Yeah, absolutely, I can do that. And it's funny because I just started working with somebody over in Oregon. They're interested in creating labels, some asset tags for parts that are going into components for a shipyard. So, you know, the boats, they need to be waterproof. They need to be heat proof. You've got all that salt water. You've got chemicals and everything that these things are going to be exposed to. And we just actually walked through it. And I showed him the value of our products and why they kind of, why they're such a good fit for him. And it's all because of that lamination film right inside of these. I mean, these are literally from my perspective, these are literally the best on the market because the only way to break through that ink or to get to that ink is to break through that polyester film. So when, you know, you're creating a barcode and you're putting it on a piece of equipment or a label of any sort, if the ink comes off of it, you just have a piece of tape. You have a very expensive piece of tape, and that's not what I want in my business. So
31 seconds. You're done. You're done.
I knew you would do that. I knew you would do it.
Well, hold on. I just kicked my camera here.
Oh.
There. How do I look?
I didn't think you could get your leg up that high.
Yeah. So what we're going to do now is Kate in the background. Appreciate that, Dan. Thank you very much. And, you know, Dan, I hope you're saying this is the best tape out there because if not, bye, Dan. You know, so anyway. Kate's going to show a couple of videos here. So Kate, if you would go ahead and roll them, then I'm going to be back and I'm going to give you some closers and some shout outs as well. So Kate, if you would cue that up, take us ugly mugs off camera and let's show you what this is all about. Hey everybody. Welcome to BS with Todd. I'm Big Todd. Welcome to the new Casa de Guapo up here in the Southern California vacation mecca of Ramona. And so we're doing a couple of goofy things throughout this series. And one of the things I'm going to be showing you is the heat attributes of this tape. And so this morning, we're going to make a little brother flavored oatmeal. Say that fast 10 times. And so we're going to start the process by, I'm going to print a label. I'm going to put it in the bottom of the bowl. We're going to whip up a batch of oatmeal. Obviously, it's got to get to the boiling level, all right, for the oatmeal. But we're going to check it out. We're going to see how it works. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my PTE 550. I'm going to print off a little label that I did ahead of time. And we're going to put that to the bottom of the bowl. So here's my label. How appropriate. All right. So let's take this thing, let's put them at the bottom of the bowl, or this label at the bottom of the bowl. All right, and let's put it in here, like so. All right, here we go. We got a little heat me at the bottom of the bowl. Next thing, let's do some oatmeal. This one is cinnamon something. So, oatmeal in. We're gonna take some water. We're gonna throw a little water in there. All right, it's time to cook it up. So let's just go here. Let's go in here. And let's do, I don't know. Now, for the sake of time, all right? For the sake of time in 3 minutes, I'm not gonna waste you with a bunch of BS during the 3 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna pause it right now. Hey, so welcome back. As you can see, we got about 45 seconds left on this. And the whole idea behind, you know, the heat resistance, obviously, is if you're in a hot, humid environment, it could be a data center, it could be outside plant, it could be on some pedestals, any humid type of environment, you want a label that is going to withstand heat, humidity, moisture, and basically we have everything inside this bowl of label flavored oatmeal coming out here in about 12 seconds. So after this test, I'm actually going to do test number 2. So stay tuned for that. And then I know Dan Cobb also did a couple of things on the freezing attributes. Oh my, it's time. Let's take a look and see what we got. We got a mess, but that's all right. Right? That's okay because it showed that it got to its boiling point. So let me go ahead and let me pull this out. Oh boy, man. So I tell you what, I'm not that hungry right now, and I really don't like the flavor of adhesive in my oatmeal. So let's go ahead and let's just pour this out. All right. Look at that, folks. Right there, still stuck. So again, kind of a goofy way of showing you some heat resistancy, but I'm telling you, it works. So stay tuned for test number 2. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna sign off this one, and see you just in a moment. Hey everybody, welcome back to test number 2. So you saw before where I put the oatmeal in the microwave and it showed the boiling capacities and the resistance to heat that it had in the kitchen. But now we're going to try something a little hotter, if you will, outdoors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the old blue flamer to a tape, and we're going to see exactly how well it holds up. So with that being said, I'm going to take the PTE 550. I got a pre-typed label in there. I'm just going to print this out. Alright, as you can see, I'll put a couple little goofy graphics on there, but there's a label that we're going to put on this piece of wood here. So let's go ahead and let's affix this to the wood. I'll put it down here for now. Alright. Let's go ahead and let's get the old blue flamer going here. So, we got the old blue flamer going. I'm going to put it down here in the wood. We're going to burn the wood. So you can see, let's go after the label here. Not too bad. Not too bad. All right, you can see we're burning the wood. So anyway, there's just another example, and it's short and sweet. I'm sure I can burn the hell out of this thing if I really kept the heat on it. But again, it just shows you the heat resistancy that this label has. So anyway, I appreciate you joining BS with Todd this week, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks.
Welcome to Wisconsin, Todd. Let's take you inside. And put some heat on. Let's see what happens. We'll give it a couple minutes. Whew. Done like that. All right, let's give her a couple minutes. All right.
about 5 minutes in from the snow. It's the freezing point. Some of this ice is starting to melt away. So that's about 10 minutes after it started boiling. We still got another 5 minutes to go. There's a little less water in there now. Let's give it another 5 minutes and see what happens. Okay, so that's what it looks like coming to from the snow to the stove top, and brought to a boil for about 15 minutes. Let's take this guy out of here and see what happens. That looks pretty good. The other side, the other side, I threw a QR code back there. QR code still looks good. Just had a little bit more fun right here. And take playable, put it right back in there. It's boiling good. I'll just throw some bouillon in with Todd and see what happens. There we go. There's a little bouillon for you. A little Todd soup. So, there you have it. Some label stew. That label still looks good. Look at that guy. That's fantastic. From the great outdoors in Wisconsin in January. The stove top. Add a little bit of beef bouillon and get some label stew. The label. Just doesn't want to come off of there. That's fantastic. Look at that thing. We beat it up pretty good. Label still on it. Looks fantastic. I love it. Let's check that QR code out here. Alright, so here's the QR code. And then I grab this guy here. You know, make sure that QR code is still legible. Let's see. Wow, there's a lot of stuff going on there. Oh, yep. Yep, sure enough. Awesome. 30 minutes. At least 30 minutes. 45 minutes, however long it's on that sucker. That label still stands up. That's awesome. Was that fun? We got paid to do that.
Wow, you know what? Actually, I didn't see that full video, Dan. I didn't realize that pan was out in your backyard.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So again, it just shows you the spectrum of what our labels can withstand, and that was pretty cool. That QR code still popping up, and link to that site right there. So that was awesome. I appreciate you doing that, Dan. It all started where Dan didn't even know that this week's episode was going to be on the extreme temperatures, and he sent me a video one night. Right? He sent me a video one night, and of him boiling some labels. And I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. It fits right in. So no, that came out well, Dan. I appreciate that. And, these things are different tests that we do. And a lot of times we don't know if these things are going to work very well. So far, so good on everything we've done with the different tests. And stay tuned. I mean, we're going to do some more, with some solvents and chemicals. And there's all sorts of stuff coming up. But Dan, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your efforts as usual. On BS with Todd, it's always good to see you. Although we've been seeing each other almost every day, brothers having our national meetings virtually now. But Dan, it's good to see you on board here, and I do appreciate it. Anything you got to say in closing, Dan?
So that whole test was something that I've wanted to do for a very, very long time. And I just wanted to prove a theory. I wanted to be like that Mythbusters guy, and I wanted to look and say, okay, how does this work? Because so polyester has a heat distortion temperature at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So in essence, it should work. And it did. It was wonderful. I absolutely loved it. I had so much fun doing it. I didn't like going outside though, but boiling the label and making soup, that was fun. That was
what'd you call it? Todd soup?
Todd soup.
I wouldn't eat that nasty crap, but anyway.
I still have the plate here.
Nice. Well, again, Dan, I thank you for your time, and it's my understanding you got a few things to do, so I'll let you get back to work and yeah, whatever. Go sell something, will you? Toddy needs a new pair of shoes. Thanks, Dan.
All right, thanks, buddy.
So anyway, hey, a couple of shout outs. I see Mr. Chuck Bowser on the screen here where he did the QR code via the video even. So that's pretty impressive. Speaking of Chuck, I was a special guest on Chuck's show, I don't know, Chuck, a couple of weeks ago. It's letstalkcabling.com, and he's got some podcasts that he's doing. And he had me on board talking about data center labeling. And so that's always fun. Another shout out to Mr. Blake Ermos, Low Voltage Nation. You can catch him as well. Great show. We're going to partner up with these guys and get the word out there. I'm very specific to labeling. These guys cover the whole aspects of low voltage and infrastructure and so forth and whatnot. So shout out to those guys. See if you can tune in. They appreciate it. So it is 10:21 right now. As this series progresses, what are we on? It's episode 26, but now we're doing it every 2 weeks. So anyway, we started this, at the end of March, and it has become wildly successful with, millions of views so far. So it does two things. It talks about labeling, which is, again, a passion of mine. Labeling sometimes is a forgotten piece of that infrastructure, or it's not done right. We want to make sure, brother wants to make sure, I want to make sure that it's done right the first time so that you can move on to other things that are a little funner than labeling. So again, and you know what, we've got some great customers out here. Shout out to Ian out there as a direct result of this series. So not only are we doing some education, we're opening people's minds to it's not just a label or a sticker, if you will. Thanks, PJ, for that. But it can encompass a lot of things besides just what we know from a cable wrap and patch panel. It goes way beyond that. So that's what this series is all about. And we really, and I really sincerely appreciate everyone joining us every other Thursday now, I believe it is. So speaking of the next episode, I think it's a good one. It's one of my favorites. It's what I do quite a bit. I get customers call me all the time and say, how do I do this? And how do I put a QR code on there? And how do we put our logos on there? And how do we pull from a database and so forth and whatnot? So that on February 11th, that's what I'm going to cover is custom label design. This is a, you don't want to miss this one. It's very, very easy to do. What I'll do is I'll sit back here and I'll share our P-Touch editor. And I've kind of gone through some of this with asset management and barcodes, but we're going to start from scratch, if you will, with just a blank template. And I'm going to show you how to customize this label by adding text, by adding barcodes, by adding pictures, by adding, industry symbols if you want, and creating your own labels that could be, it's fun to do too. I'm obviously the king of self-promotion. So why not put something like your company logo on there? Or if you're a contractor, how impressive would that be to walk into your potential customer with a couple of labels with their logos on there? I'm telling you, it's worked in the past, and I think that'll work for you in the future. So February 11th, we're doing some custom labeling. February 25th, we're going to talk about some desktops. Brother has introduced some new desktops to our lineup. They are direct thermal and thermal transfer. And so what we're going to be talking about is, again, shipping labels, handling, or excuse me, shipping, receiving, bin locations, anything that basically needs just a paper label, a very tough paper label, but you'd be absolutely surprised what our desktops can do and how fast they pump out these labels. So that's going to be on February 25th. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, you can certainly reach out to me. Kate just put up the link there to brothermobilesolutions.com, right tool. I wanted to say that I also have my ANSI TIA 606C training up there that's good for 2 CECs. And what you need to do right now is when you get on brothermobilesolutions.com, go down to the Datacom section, scroll down a little bit, and you can take the course right there and get your 2 CECs as well. Contact information. I used to hail from Carlsbad, California. Now I'm in this 2-horse town called Ramona. Actually, by the time my wife brings her horse up here, it's going to be a 3-horse town. Yippee. So anyway, I'm still here on the West Coast. You got Mr. Jamie Brook over in Virginia Beach, Mr. Dan Cobb somewhere out in Wisconsin, Mr. Bruce Page, the biggest fan of the show, I can tell you right now. The biggest promoter of this show is Mr. Bruce Page. So shout out to Bruce Page, Mr. Rob Dawkins, and then our glorious leader who's probably on a conference call right now, on the brother conference call, but Mr. Craig Robinson in the Bradenton area. With that being said, you know what? I'm 4 minutes away. I got nothing else to say. I'm done. Please stay safe out there. Again, if you have any questions, reach out to me. If you need some bad advice, I'm always here too. So with that being said, I'm out. Have yourself a great rest of the week and a great weekend, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks.